Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the latest in a series of videos regarding the devGaido app. This video centers on the new features in the release that we put out on August 26, 2017. This release contained a number of different things. Uh, First of all, we added new content. We have two new learning paths, one on React.js basics and the other one on getting started with Redux. We hope that you'll find those useful, and in the future we'll continue to add more and more content to the application. The other change we made, which should be very important to you, is a number of UI and UX changes were made to make the way we present information and the way we format it to add clarity and to make it easier to read and understand. We really don't want the app to get in the way of you being able to absorb the information that we're providing. Another change we made is we implemented automatic browser cache refreshing. So what this means is that when we come out with new releases or changes to the app, you'll no longer have to manually clear your browser cache. The app takes care of that for you. We also made a number of internal changes to the way we style information, or the way we style pages. This is getting us ready for the next modification to the app, the next release, where we're really going to make it more responsive so that it plays well on small form factor devices like phones and tablets. And then finally, we made a number of miscellaneous performance changes. The team is quite frankly fanatical and OCD when it comes to performance, and also when it comes to eliminating technical debt. We want to do whatever we can today to make the app run as fast as it can so that we don't have problems as it scales up in the future. So let's dive in and talk about some of the changes that we've made. We'll walk you through this. First of all, on the landing page, the first thing that you'll notice is that we've gone to a different font. We've done some new letter spacing, and we've also in some areas darkened the font to make it just a little bit easier to read. In prior releases, you may recall that on certain pages, the text was just a little bit hard to read. So using these three techniques, we hope will make it easier for you to absorb the information and improve the clarity. The other thing we've done is to make the buttons more distinctive and make them pop out more. We've added an icon to each button so that you know, in addition to the pill shape, the rounded shape, that it truly is a button. And then we've added this hover effect so that it changes color when you hover over the button. The purpose of this is to give you some contrast and some distinction, so there's never any question about what button will be invoked when you click. So let's dive just a little bit deeper. Let's log on, and we'll take a look at changes on some other screens. So first of all, let's go right to the library. On the library, one of the things you'll notice is that we've changed, instead of using the term subject, we've pivoted to use the term tags. We feel that's more meaningful, and it's more ubiquitous, in terms of other sites and whatnot. The other thing we've done is we've tried where it makes sense to add more icons, just to give you a little more visual distinction. The big change on this page is you'll note that instead of having a screenshot or an image and then a solid color banner and then the description of what's in this path or lesson, we've collapsed that so that the description or the title of the path or lesson is now embedded inside this top image. That saves us vertical space, and then we've also gone to a 2-card per row system so that we're not throwing quite so much information at you. Again, the focus around this, the purpose around this is to make it easier to read. And then as we stated earlier or noted earlier, you'll see or notice that we've darkened the font in the description and we've gone to a different letter spacing. So let's take a look at path card. We'll click on that. So here what you'll notice, a couple changes. We used to have descriptive text on the left-hand side of the card that said, rating, for example, for the star rating, or course length, or lesson length, whatever, for the length. We felt that this information is really fairly evident, so that text description didn't really add anything. In fact, what it did, it cluttered the page and it made it harder to pick out or to read what's really important to you, which is the description and this information. The other thing we did is we moved this estimated salary, which in the future will become more of a value statement. We moved it to the left-hand side because it's really associated more with the goal than anything else. And it just made the card a little bit more condensed, again, a little easier to read. The other thing we did, we also felt that the tags look too much like buttons. So we've gone with a different format to show that, this gray background to show that there's really a distinction between a button and a tagged piece of information. So you probably won't notice too much difference in the path marker and the milestones that occur at the bottom of this page. You still have a marker that shows, where you're at. In this case, this is a milestone that you were on last, and the check mark shows you completed it. For the path itself, you see the completion metrics. So you see that you've completed one of 11 milestones and one of 17 lessons. And then for the remainder, each milestone, you see the number of lessons in that milestone. So the big change is when you click on the milestone to display the lessons, we went to a simpler card format. In the prior release, we had a solid color banner extending horizontally. We felt that made it harder to associate, for you to associate what lessons were associated with what milestones. So we removed that. And then we also made the card, its format, more consistent with the lesson card and up here with the path card and other sections of the app. So let's go back to the library. Those was paths. Let's take a look at lessons. So again, lessons are now 2 up instead of being 3 up per row. You can see we have the same change to the way we format the title and the banner. One change we've added is that lessons are delivered using different types of media and with different intent. So some are truly, they're courses. Some are books, they're reading assignments you have to do. Some are actually projects where we're asking you to complete a task to reinforce what you've learned. So what we've done is we've tagged each of the lessons with an icon that represents, what type of media is it delivered through? Is it a course, a book, or a project? And we'll be expanding on this in the future. We'll have other media types like video that'll be added down the road. If we click on a lesson card, you can see the format is consistent with the path card. We've removed the text descriptions from the left-hand side, and we've done the button highlighting, so it's a little easier to see what button is going to be invoked when you click. So let's go to the dashboard. So remember that what the dashboard shows is it displays your current state. Basically, what was the lesson that you last viewed? What's the path that you last worked on? What are the paths that you have in progress? So what we've done is these section markers, we've actually made this a little easier to read but also we've made it more distinctive. So it's easier for you to recognize, what's in each of these sections. In this case, we have a lesson and it's the last viewed lesson. So any cards in here or the card in here is the last lesson you viewed. We have the same buttons that will show, what have you bookmarked versus what have you completed. And again, going back versus what's in progress now. And then if we click on the card, again, you'll see the lesson card. It's the same card we saw just a few minutes ago. So in closing, these are the changes to the latest release of devGaido. We hope that you find it easier to read, that the information's easier to pick up with these changes. We really hope that you like the two new learning paths on React and Redux that we added. And we ask that, if you find any bugs, you have any questions, issues, whatever, click on the content or the contact button at the bottom of the page, and you'll see information on how to use GitHub to open an issue so that we can start working on it. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your support. We hope this has been helpful. And now we're going to start working on the next release.